Crank it. Is it coincidence that it's week 13? The 3 days after Halloween? I don't know. Hey, welcome to episode 13 Behind the Line, folks. I am your host, Ron Harlow. Other host to my left, Robert Keebs-Keeler.
Hello.
And wow, we had a week from, one of those weeks from hell. They always come. Survivors got knocked out here, there, all over, because most folks probably had Buffalo used already, and the Rams used already, and Robert and I are gone. We were on the Bengals. As soon as you believe in my Bengals, that's
it.
That's what it's all.
And always is a road team that gets upset that was a double-digit favorite.
That's the one.
I had that happen 3 times.
Wow. All right. Before we get to 5 things, we got breaking stuff all over the place. Barkley, A.J. Green, Aaron Rodgers, Noah Fant, all placed on the COVID list. And now are most likely not playing. Robert's got some further information on Aaron Rodgers, which should shock anybody that's got a player on that team.
Well,
are the rest of them vaccinated? Do we know?
We don't know. But
we know A-Rod is not.
They're reporting that Rodgers is not vaccinated. He has to quarantine for 10 days. That puts him in jeopardy, not just this week, but the following week as well.
They'll figure out a way somehow.
Oh, they get him in there that second game.
He might have had it. He might have had COVID last week. You never. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going on with some of this stuff?
But the point is, if he misses 2 games due to COVID because he's not vaccinated, wow.
Right, and no trades.
No, nothing.
Von Miller and
Miller.
You guys that play individual defense, does that help? Were you excited to see that? Anything? No.
Nobody's excited. Von Miller's kind of one
older.
of those guys past his prime. He doesn't have the, he's not the terrorizing quarterbacks like he was. Will it help him go into Rams where they could spot him as a pass rusher on 3rd downs and stuff? It'll help. But overall, you wouldn't probably put him in your lineup.
Does it put the Rams in a better position? I'm sure.
The Rams in a better real football position, but in fantasy,
All right, 5 things. Let's get it started here. Let's start with something that we all have to feel now and again. We all know it's coming. If you play in enough leagues, you play enough years. The weekly heartache in fantasy football is real. It is real. This has been one of those years. This has been absolutely one of those years. All right, now look, if you're in a 10-team league, 8-team league, 12, 14, who there right now, Robert, anybody, do you think is going to be ranked as a number 1 player at the end of the season? Because, Robert, I don't see Henry was there. Henry was absolutely there.
Yeah.
Kamara there. But now Taysom Hill makes him always average, right?
Yep.
It's Taysom Hill the rest of the year, at least till he's healthy. So Devontae Adams, COVID, out, missing games. Ty Hill's been hurt and had some bad games.
Yeah, kind of off there.
Stephon Diggs isn't even a second rounder, I'll bet. I bet he isn't a top 24 wide receiver. I'll bet you he's not.
Probably not. No.
Kelsey, what happened? Where's he going? He had 3 points and then he fumbled. And then so he had 1. And then he got the 4, whatever it was.
So, like you and I were talking before the show, if you were doing a draft today,
this moment,
at this moment, who would be your number 1 pick? And we were like, well,
I said Jamar Chase. I said the undraftable Jamar Chase.
Chase, Cup, maybe.
Yeah, Cup for sure. You got to take Cooper Cup.
Najee Harris because of volume. But
my
God, any of these guys, you're like,
Devontae had. Come on.
Really excited. It's a really weird year in terms of fantasy. I think we're seeing that teams are spreading out the running game too much now for fantasy players.
Right.
Every team's got at least 2 to 3 guys, 3 guys, 3-headed monsters.
Right.
It's just you can't depend on anybody.
You got that right. Here we go. For the homers, the Bears. I follow my physical gestures here. But the Bears find new ways to make you think they're gonna crush. They're gonna win. They're gonna come back. Then the game ends last week. The Bears looked like they weren't even in the game. They didn't cover. They lost by 11. and they should have won. They scored the first two. The first two scores were Bears, right? They scored the first two times.
They were up in the game. They kept settling for field goals, not getting the touchdowns. And in the fourth quarter, they couldn't stop the 49ers. I think the 49ers had 160 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. He couldn't stop them.
I got him in 2 leagues. The young Mitchell, really, he had to have 80 yards in the second half, easy. Touchdown again, but yeah. And can I give a Colts ditto? The Colts ditto, 14-0, a must win. Jonathan Taylor's playing out of his butt. Mo Alley Cox shows up every other game with a touchdown. Wentz is turning it around. They're saying he's looking like the 2000 whatever Carson Wentz. Up 14-0, guys. And then
he started turning the ball over, and he had 2 horrific turnovers. The one right before overtime when he was about to get sacked in the end zone, flipped it forward, and
one of those
guy grabbed it.
5 yards. Was it even 5 yards?
It wasn't even 5 yards. It was like 2 yards.
2 yard
right into the end zone. He should have took the safety. You still have the lead. And then the overtime pick. Oh, had Jonathan Taylor wide open in the middle of the field for at least 15, 20-yard gain. He looks left, throws it into double coverage late on the sideline, picked off, immediate field goal range, game over. I mean, Wentz, you could put that loss on Wentz's back. He really, 2 back-breaking turnovers.
I'm counting this as my number 2, but it sort of bounces off that one. All right, this is me. This is Harlow. 3 leagues is what I got. Dak, CMC, Chubb, Mixon, James Robinson times 2, Antonio Brown times 2, Corey Davis times 3, Gronk, Logan Thomas, Knox, all missed games. J-Rob's gonna miss going forward, and I don't even count Chris Carson because you just cannot count Chris Carson when it comes to injuries, right? He's locked in to be injured. Neck injury, may not even be back. I've also sweated Ty Hill times 2, Scary Terry times 2, Alex Collins, Hawkinson, what's his name? Seals Jones. Is it just me, or do I have all the injured guys? No, I don't. I mean, I don't. This is a year. I wanted to write down all the guys I'm trying to cobble together teams with.
If you look at the teams that are doing well in your leagues, if you analyze, and I looked at teams that are doing well, including myself. I'm in the top half in all my leagues. I won every game. I won all of this last week. But the point is, not the injury bug isn't hit.
Yeah.
I don't have guys out. I look at the other teams. You got a guy out, questionable, ain't playing. All the things you talked about. I've never seen a season like this between COVID and the injuries and the underachieving players, which you could make a laundry list of. It's just been a weird fantasy year.
When you lose the guy, what's the guy? I mean, there couldn't be more of a wasteland behind Derrick Henry on that team. At least I got the backup. At least right. Jeremy Nick. We're going to talk about it. There's a Deontay or whatever, Foreman or something that they're talking maybe, but they got the man. We're going to talk about all day here at some point during the show. But I just can't believe the Colts lost that game. All right, number 4. Kirk Cousins will forever be known as a small game quarterback.
Oh, yeah, when the game's big.
Conversely, Dallas stole one. Rush and Mike Williams won this week, so what do we know about anything, by the way? Mike White threw for 400 yards.
Mike White's on fire. The Minnesota can't beat Dallas with Cooper Rush.
I don't know what happened with that. Minnesota's embarrassing.
A lot of upsets last week. A lot of teams, a lot of underdogs covered.
That's for sure. And they've been doing it all year. And I've got some this week. All right. Yeah. Number 5, and the sad one for everybody out there. I felt that I've worked in the field before in my life, in the mental health field. We're going to wish a happy return for Calvin Ridley. Again, depression is real. Stress in life is real. And what I'll say to you, Robert, is clearly he had this problem prior because he missed a week before.
Yeah, he didn't go to London and the London week.
All the money in the world hasn't allowed him to find a cure for an answer for the pain that he has, whatever it is. I don't know if it's anxiety, depression, bipolar. No one's talking. Yeah, you should be. Did you see what he did last year? And that was one. He was one of your absolute bell cow guys last year. Super duper.
And of course, we talked about it. I've got him on every one of my teams. So there there you go. It feels like he died. Or
Right?
he got
Yeah.
hurt
I mean,
and blew out his knee.
Will he play again?
Exactly.
I mean, what?
My guess, he doesn't play the rest of his
Yeah.
So.
Well, I remember Brian Williams, the NBA guy.
Well,
he did it.
And the problem is, I think Atlanta's not going to have a shot at the playoffs, even though they're 4-4 right now. I don't know if they don't have a shot at the playoffs. I don't see them coming back. So.
Right. So he would say he's a drop. Well, we'll talk about it.
A lot of leagues. Well, my league, I can put him on my IR.
Okay. Right.
So put him on the IR. But if you only have like 1 or 2 IR spots, you might have to make You might have to make a decision because there's a lot of dudes going on the IR.
Let's get into the dumps and holes. This was a week that I feel like a little Richard Lewis. I've been watching some Curb Your Enthusiasm. I got the head-to-hand. I got it. So many could go either way. And I even wrote the word, he was a dump. I typed the word switch in because something happened with COVID. Right? You got to keep up with COVID too now. Of course.
Right there.
The dumps, we'll start with the dumps where it's due. 2 Henrys, Derrick Henry, and Henry Ruggs. Goodbye. What are you doing? One night of craziness has cost him his career and his freedom. How much money do you need to have a driver in these moments? I feel bad.
I didn't get a chance to look into it.
Right.
The Players Association has a thing now where they'll send a car for you.
Oh, well,
I didn't
3:40 in the morning. 3:40 in the morning.
They basically said if you can't, Uber, Lyft, whatever you can't do, the Players Association they have some program where they will send a car for you so this doesn't happen. So it ain't like the players aren't aware that, he's driving around in his cool Corvette in Vegas. A lot of people, probably haven't talked about this. This is one of the reasons why they didn't want to have pro sports teams in Vegas. They knew these players would get in trouble after midnight.
With the city that never sleeps.
Everybody wants to be, partying. It's Vegas. And it wasn't just about the gambling aspect. It was about that whole nightlife.
Right.
Like you said, it's a 24/7
Yeah, it never stops.
Never stops. And, tragically, this occurred because this poor woman didn't do anything wrong, and this guy hit her at 156 miles per hour. And it killed her dog, too.
It's horrible. I'm crushed.
It's horrible.
I had this is my switch. I had Rondell Moore again as a dump if you hadn't dumped him yet. Now we gotta switch him because AJ Green is up, and hang on. Kyler Murray might not play.
And then Hopkins,
he's in and out of the game last week. And Christian Kirk's more of your downfield threat. So
it could be a Moore week if Murray plays. So
right.
I saw Murray limited. They're 50-50. Some people are saying, he'll probably play. Some people are like, maybe he won't.
I got Scary Terry in too, and I'm begging. I go, I'll play Randall Cobb this week. Nope, because
Jordan Love's coming in.
Jordan Love. All right. Damian Williams started the game, left, hurt, short lease. Herbert has earned the spot. I think Damian Williams is gone. If you're playing one of those two, find a spot. Allen Robinson just was on the thing as the fantasy bust of the year. How about this stuff?
Wow.
27 yards. I know you don't play, probably. It's Allen Robinson. You could book him for 1,000 yards every year for every year he's on the Bears.
Right.
What was his over/under in yards on DraftKings last week?
My guess.
Go ahead if you want to.
I'll say 52.
39 and a half yards, guys. I know. I think right. That is even surprising. I should have jumped on the under. Even Mooney, dude, was 42.5. I just wanted to point that out to all your fans that I've told you to drop Allen Robinson, move on there. Gainwell, what the hell happened there, Ken Gainwell? Got to go though. I'm going with Boston Scott. I'm not keeping a rookie. They added Jordan Howard again. Oh my God, you can't have a part of that.
Yeah, you can't have any part of that nonsense. I mean, Gainwell's the backup to Sanders until Sanders gets hurt, and then he's the third stringer.
Right? Didn't even get in the game until the second half.
Yeah, he got in because it was garbage time. If they weren't winning so big, he probably would have had no carries. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Phillies coaches. All right, and then
they said the Philly coach maybe one and done.
Last but not least, Robert, you know who it is. Come on.
What?
OBJ, always OBJ. until he retires.
Oh my God, OBJ.
News out today, out of Cleveland says he's not even they quote unquote, he's not even on the team or with the team.
They said they might cut
I don't
him.
know what that
They
is.
said they might.
How could you not? He's terrible.
They couldn't trade him. First they would say, there were people out there like, oh, they might trade OBJ. Then they said, literally everybody went,
So who wants
for
them?
what? But he has no value. Why would we give you anything for him? And then now the Cleveland's like, well, maybe we should just get rid of him.
Yeah, give the Peeps, give the Donnie Peeps Jones a shot, or Higgins, or
Peoples and
Landry can catch the ball. All right, here's my holds. I don't know how you giving. I have Ridley number 1. Man, for me, it would be so hard to trade a guy who was my number 1 or drop without at least giving him a chance. You don't think? Are you dropping him, Ridley? Oh, wait, usually you put him on injury.
I got enough room on my IR, and I don't have other injuries, so I can hold. I'm
All
in a
right.
hold position. Maybe he'll get some pills, and 2 weeks later he'll be like, you know what? I feel pretty good. I'm back. Or maybe you won't.
Ridley on the Riddlin, maybe?
Really?
Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry to have to try to make a joke out of that, but
yeah.
I used to dispense it, believe it or not. I told you I worked in the field, so I understand it. I felt
Fly
it.
you to Atlanta. Give Ridley the Riddlin so he can get back on the field. But
Calvin Ridlin.
I have no illusions that he's going to help me, so
I hear you.
I'm kind of moving on right
Yeah,
now.
I understand if you could. I picked up Russell Gage. Thank God I didn't play him. What do you think about it?
I think that I did pick him up and put him in one of my lineups.
I know, but do you think that was kind of flukish, right? I mean, he's not.
No.
Don't forget, dude.
Crap.
Matt Ryan only threw for 140 yards or something. He's
well,
going to throw for more than that.
I watched part of that game. I mean, I don't think Russell Gage was ever open.
All right,
He's another guy. Remember, he knocked around.
And he's been hurt all year.
We remember 3-4 years ago, Russell Gage, when he was the second fiddle to Julio Jones in his heyday. Those days are over.
Yeah.
I think
they got the Tajay Sharp doing something.
they got the Sharp. They got the Quez, whoever that guy is. They got another guy running around. I don't want any part of all that crap.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Randall Cobb still a hold. Got to be a hold.
Yeah.
Got to be a hold. Even with Lazard's coming back. Yeah. But great call last week, Robert. Again, MVS didn't play, so obviously didn't play him. You helped one of our guys, I think. He won both of them, Randall Cobb. Again, not a lot of catches, but he caught him in the right spot.
Well,
2 touchdowns.
Called the touchdown, and I said 1 to 2, easy.
That one cut left, that one on that.
You knew Rodgers brought Cobb back. He was the reason they signed Cobb, and now all the guys are hurt. You knew he was going to go, well, watch this. I'm going to show you why we got this guy. I mean, Cobb's a hold. I mean,
yeah, he is. We're getting to those weeks where and Devontae Adams is going to need a little rest here and there too. So
you never know what's going to.
I'm holding him. I'm probably playing him without against Jordan Love, but we'll see. All right, how about this guy? He might not even be a hold. He might be available on your team, and I can't believe I'm endorsing him for the first time of the season. I looked at some stats. Mecole Hardman has just under 6 receptions a week for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean he's been that sneaky. Now that Kelsey kind of.
I got some on there.
Kind of a little tempered.
He's sort of developing a little bit of consistency, Robert, as at least a wide receiver 3 or as a flex. Here you go. Plus 62 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Yeah. Kelsey's dipping. Here's my thought. This Kansas City revamped, paid off O-line ain't doing it.
No.
Plus, Kelsey's been banged up on the sidelines. I think Kelsey's been kept in to not only chip but block a little bit more. If he can squeeze and tangle and get out there, fine. But they don't have him like Gesicki. He ain't Gesicki. No, they have him chipping at least. So
he's got to block a little bit. He's 32. Kansas City in the last 3-4 years, been to the Super Bowl twice, so he's played an extra 12, at least 12, 13 games.
That's a good point.
It's almost a season's worth of wear and tear.
I wanted him, I'll tell you that.
And with Kelsey, I mean, it's sort of like what you saw when Gronk started to decline when he was at New England. At one point, he was just dominating people.
Right, and then you can't hang.
He slows down just enough where they can get those shots in. And they started banging on Gronkowski, and that's how they beat him down.
And that's how you get this. That's how you end up the sidelines.
That's what happens to those big dudes. When you start to lose, you might not lose a full step, you lose that little step. And all of a sudden, the guys that used to not get those clean hits on you now are banging. That's why he keeps fumbling. I mean, he's getting pounded.
Right on.
So, I mean, I'm glad I don't.
I'm not.
Many parts of Kelsey this year.
Me either. Kadarius Toney, I don't know if you saw it. he had a wrist problem, a finger or something like that. But you know this guy's in for some big snaps now. That Shepard hurt again. Got Pettis hurt during the game.
Galladay counting his dollars
right.
somewhere.
Evan Ingram not doing much. When it's time to rank all the healthy Giants, I think you're still going to put Tony number one. I do.
Yeah.
So hang on to him. Callaway, for sure, by the way. For sure, if you haven't heard that news. Michael Thomas, new ankle injury on rehab, out for the year. Told you never to draft him. How about this? I faced in a league, I got biased. I faced Traquan Smith and Gio Bernard in the same league. I'm not kidding you guys. That's the kind of stuff I got going on over here.
That's when you go, what happened?
Are you kidding? I was like, yeah. Really? I look at the line, I go, I'm a crush. Really? Traquan Smith almost had a second. He was caught on the one sticking yard line.
Yeah. That's when you know you're not cursed, but things aren't going your way.
All right, Robert, this is one of your guys. I know you want him to do well, but I think he's on the teeter of hole. I mean, I don't know how much longer going. Who am I talking about? He's only got 2 games over 70 yards and only 1 touchdown on the year. 17 yards only against Seattle 2 weeks ago. You got to remember that one.
I'm drawing a blank.
Claypool does not have more than 2 games over 70 yards. That's it. And 1 TD.
I think he's a victim.
Absolutely. Of 8-yard passing.
Last week he was a victim of the game script because it was 15
What the hell was that game? Nice call, though.
An old school game.
That's what Robert called the Pittsburgh on the road.
Big Ben couldn't throw the ball downfield. And Claypool, I'm not dropping him yet, though. I still think I got hope. I like talent. Talent over hope.
I read something about Alex Collins and how Rashard Penny has now earned a split. Hang on, folks. Hold on to Alex Collins. Once again, another Rashard Penny, 7 carries for 7 yards. What did he earn?
Yeah,
does he look good in his outfit? I don't know. I mean,
the week before it was 6 carries?
Yeah, it was close. It was 1 over. He had 1 yard over. I don't think so.
6 or 8 or something. I find that very hard to believe.
I know. Keep Alex Collins. I don't think Carson's coming back, guys.
I don't think he's coming back.
I have them both. All right, top 5 waivers. This is so important, guys. With the COVID, with the injuries, with the buys, with the matchups. I think that there's no more. I'm trying my best here because I am just wavering on who to have number 1. I do have the Hall of Famer number 1. I'll tell you why. 27.9 runs a game for Tennessee. And I say for week 1 because I'm going to guarantee you. Godwin almost had, he didn't get 2, but Godwin got his 1 touchdown last week. I'm going to guarantee if he plays this week, they're getting him a TD in week 1. Every time he comes to a new team, he gets a TD that very first game, and everybody goes, "Oh, I better get him. I better get him."
I forgot where else he's been. But
I think Minnesota, of course. You're not counting it. But he could get hurt and come back though, and he's getting a touch in the end zone. Give me your again. I'll take. I'm just gonna say I'll ride with where we're at. I'll ride him until he's unrideable. Of what's available, there's not much here, guys.
Yeah, there's not much on waivers. I mean,
there's not much here. I'm going to talk about some guys.
You pick up Peterson. You're hoping he's touchdown dependent. I mean, he's going to get 10 to maybe not this week because they might wait for him to get game shape, his legs underneath him. But when he does play, he's going to be like a 10 to 12 carry guy, 40 yards, and you got to hope for that touchdown because I really don't think he'll be much in the passing game. I think McNichols will be that PPR.
He has to be.
PPR.
You think he gives McKissick as good as McKissick as McNichols? The Irish twins, I guess we'll call it.
Yet to be seen because we really don't have a lot of history with him filling in.
I can't believe people are willing to talk about how much they're willing to spend on him for free agent. He has the most carries he has in a game this year still with Henry Allen and 2 carries in a game.
I think McNichols, his value will be in the catching game, catching with Tennessee behind, catching the ball. I don't see him as it's quite obvious Tennessee didn't think he was too dynamic a runner because they were like, maybe we could go get Adrian Peterson. They didn't try to trade for Marlon Mack. They they didn't try to really trade.
No
for
word on
anybody.
him at all. Like nobody said. I read a lot of birds. Like he was never in
Nothing.
like trade talks.
I think the Colts,
except for like the coach says, I think he's going to stay. Well,
Yeah.
because no one wanted him.
that was
Yeah.
it. That was it. But
Teams
that
could
was
use
weird.
him.
Weird.
Teams could. I mean, I'm baffled on that one.
That was
Considering how we absolutely put the puzzles into place when it came to Baltimore, we knew exactly who was coming there. I mean, I'm baffled that Marlon Mack didn't get traded just for the fact that they don't need him.
Maybe there's something we don't know about him as a
Maybe he didn't pass physical.
as a player. Maybe he's lost a step that we haven't seen.
Maybe he stays out late. Maybe he's Marlon Mack Daddy. Is what he is.
Maybe it's a personal thing. I don't know. But
hey, I'm a fan though. I still have him. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna drop him, I guess, but I did have him. And all right, would you rather have this guy out of the injury again, wide receiver, out of the injury pile into a very major targeted share on a team that has no running game? Here you go. Last 5 games, targets 7, 9, 7. I'm sorry, 7, 9, 7, 9, 11, and got his first TD. Devontae Parker. I'm talking Devontae Parker. Here's just an underheard stat for sure. Again, Miami's like that, kind of like Tampa, and they don't have a running game. So they are 10th in neutral game passing rate. So that you probably didn't know that. Would you rather have him, or would you rather than AP, or would you rather have Boston Scott, who stole the rug under Kenneth Gainwell? I mean, this is where we're at, brother. Carlos Hyde's next. Van Jefferson's next. So.
What is going on?
I know there's nothing. There's nobody.
Well, it shows you the depth,
like you said before the show, running games are
running games are like these at least two and a half headed monsters to 3. So it used to be like, well, these 2 guys. Now there's a third guy always sneaking in somewhere.
Even the Jets threw 3 guys that had great games. 3 Jets, three running backs had good games.
Third dude running around.
Like Derek Gore, huh?
Derek Gore.
Did you see that?
Yes, I saw that.
Oh,
but the point is, I mean, you just all your fantasy teams now on your benches, you have how many running backs? At least
9,
3, 4,
9,
5 running backs. You're like, I'm hoping. I have 9.
Like
before
8,
you like
8.
you had the 2 studs, you might have 1 or 2 backups. You like, okay,
and they're one of their backups.
One of their backups, or you could afford to have your guys backup. Nowadays, you're just throwing darts. You're like, I'm just picking up guys, hoping they get half the carries, hoping they
can get through a game like Collins and Elijah Mitchell, who can't seem to get through. Either one can get through a game without getting hurt. You got that right.
And I think the waiver wire then is sparse. There's nothing there.
We are there. We are there. I mean, dude.
Boston Scott.
We didn't even talk about AD when Baltimore was losing all those guys, and they didn't call him. So like you said, so we'll see what happens there. But I have him. Again, I need a running back, I guess. Van Jefferson, 89% of the snaps the last 2 weeks. If you want him to spike, he's definitely going to need a touchdown. He's not going to be a collector. He's not going to get you 6 catches in a game to cover that 80 yards so you get a nice 14. He's going to get his 3 catches for 80 yards like he got. You need that touchdown. But, again, that's a lot of stuff. Positive note, D-Jack's gone. So he is now the full-time, deep threat. But 89% of the snaps ain't the chopped liver. Higbee. I have to play Higbee because I've got Gronk and Ricky Seals-Jones who I'm dropping. But I'm not dropping Gronk. But Higbee's doing nothing. He catches everything thrown, 3 for 25. But
just not getting the volume.
Matt Stafford never had time. He wants to go deep.
He wants to move the ball.
I should have known that when I picked him. I picked him up on waivers. That's what I got. All right. Who we got left? Carlos frickin' Hyde. He's already hurt, by the way. Calf injury. Golly. I'm sorry.
Meyer loves that guy.
Yeah, that's another reason. What do you do when he started talking Agnew? Agnew touchdown. I'm sorry.
Dan Arnold, Carlos Hyde, and James Agnew. Those are his favorite players. Urban Meyer.
Danny Arnold.
Rebuilding.
Unreal. I actually had number 5 a tie between Hyde and McNichols because Hyde is probably the better short-termer, in my opinion, but I think McNichols could be.
I think Tennessee will be having to chase. Obviously they're not going to be able to run the ball 27, 30
You think
times
McNichols
a
can
game.
be at least Gaskin? Gaskin gets you 10 points a game
I
quite
think,
often.
I think McNichols, will have that low floor, about 10, 12 points. I mean, might be happy with that.
I hear you. All right, let's move it.
It's not bad.
That's the 5. Let's move into the positional rounds real quick because we got to move along because we got to get to Keeler's Keys, my favorite part of the show. Because I get a break, and I get the guys to pick up later. Running backs past the top 5. I got Jermichael Hasty next. Mitchell didn't play.
Yeah.
Sherman was dressed. Sherman dressed, and Hasty out carried him 11-0. So it's
Mitchell
not
got
Sherman.
The ribs. He didn't practice. I mean, I looked a little bit, tried to look into like what they're saying about him. Not a lot's being said. Just in practice, he's got a rib injury.
Right.
Lingered from last game.
I expected to play, but I'll tell you now, I have Mitchell, so I'm going to look to find room for this guy on the team. My next guy got the Derek Gore. He looked like a shiny new shimmering car to me, and I took a ride. Again, we're not getting crazy, but McKinnon didn't see the field. I don't think maybe once. He looked quick. He had good vision. He didn't accept the first hole. He would jump cut out of it. He sat on the practice squad for 5 years. How can we not get a look at him? I mean, what did your eyes say? What did they say?
They said.
What did they say?
They said, obviously fresh, obviously not a lot of mileage.
On a team that could win a Super Bowl.
And then in that offense, used correctly, that's what you get out of them. You can do that 7-10 carries, almost 50-plus yards offense. There's always a touchdown in there somewheres, with the running backs. I don't think they're in love with any of those guys, right?
Right.
They're not in love with CEH.
How could they be? He hasn't earned the love.
Right. They're not even in love with him.
No.
So, opportunity knocks.
Yes. And we know that Darrell Williams is limited.
Very limited. Limited.
But he's doing it. 17 again. I have Patterson next. Jarrett Patterson rushed Gibson in. That was a weird game, right? Yeah. Maybe he's a guy you could look at sooner. I don't know why they're figuring this out. We need Ryan Fitzpatrick back. That's a for sure.
Well, I think they're going to.
But take a look at this guy. We've been talking about him for a few weeks. Jarrett Patterson.
Chance they shut down Gibson at some point.
Yeah.
Especially if the season's lost, which, for all intents and purposes, the season's lost.
They're lost.
So, and Pat, if you got room on your bench, there's a name. There's your scratch off. Remember we always.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. You got to hit it, baby.
I mean,
Jarrett
there's
Patterson.
a guy who could easily take over for Gibson. If they said tomorrow Gibson's out for the rest of the year, you'd be like, well, I can understand that.
I had him for a week. I did have him.
Do you have room and can you
exactly
hold all the things that are happening?
One more week, I think. One more week. I need James Robinson to get healthy. Here's my watch list, guys. I'm still watching Salvador Ahmed, and I'm watching Jordan Howard right now because TDs. He could be the TD guy. He could finally be the TD guy. We need to. I don't know. Just watch him. At least I know. I ain't. We're watching. I'm gonna say him. All right, wide receivers. First of all, Cole Beasley, another 2 monster games in a row. He's going crazy. He's only rostered like half the leagues. Get him first, obviously. I got Bateman next. To me, he looks pretty special. I know it's a running team. Mm-hmm. Some teams may have dropped him during the bye last week. In fact, I picked him up last week. I had room.
Catches, right? I think he had 4 catches the game before the bye. He,
6 catches in both games.
The offense, getting involved.
Watkins hurt. Hollywood small, tiny guy. He's a small guy.
But I mean, you got to work. Hollywood got to work with somebody except Andrews. So
that's true.
So there's got a third wheel.
And what I said, this is the earliest that Lamar Jackson has got to games with 200 yards per game in a season.
They're throwing way more than in the past. They're not running as well. They're not running as much because they don't have the. God, who was the guy that they had? Who was the guy we were in love with before the preseason?
On which team?
On Baltimore. I forgot his name already. The guy who got hurt. I forgot him already.
Sammy Watkins. Rashad Bateman.
No, the running back.
Oh my God. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins.
It's still working, baby. It's still working.
What if J.K. Dobbins was still okay?
Right?
How great would he be doing? Oh, my God.
Yeah, because that team would be...
That team would just be running, and he'd have 1,500 yards already.
Unreal.
Oh, that
He's
would've
got
been
the size.
that
He's
would've
got
been-
the speed. He has the again. You want that Calvin Johnson size body? Got a big old body. Going to be
Yep.
good. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he's going to be a great player. Next, I have either or. If you want him, which one do you like, Lazard or MVS? MVS didn't play. They gave him a week off.
Yeah, probably
You want? You're not ready for these guys yet? Don't want them? Should I move on fast?
Let's move on.
All right. All right. Crowder. Dude, Crowder with Corey Davis hurt. Crowder with Corey Davis hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He led the team in routes with Corey Davis in the lineup in week 7.
I like Crowder. I like Mike White. Keeler's Keys.
Oh, that's awesome. And an inside note, did you know that Mike White wrote and starred in the movie The School of Rock? Not the same Mike White. 8.3 targets per game. He's the roommate, not Jack Black. Mike White. 8.3 targets per game for Crowder without Davis. And he's a perfect patchup for a volume guy in my opinion.
Because they're not playing Elijah Moore as a lot of snaps. So Crowder's got an opportunity.
Are you saying they're playing more or less?
They're playing more, less of more.
Wow. How about James Agnew? Again, Urban Meyer's making some superstars here. We had him on here last week. The only reason he's not higher, Jacksonville, a very flawed team. Now with Carlos Hyde at running back, probably. Coach says he's got the best separation. You've heard this.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a guy no one's talking about. I haven't seen him on anybody's list.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Edwards.
Well, it's somebody to think about. I mean, who's left standing?
Renfro,
Edwards, and
Waller's been hurt.
Much.
Waller's been hurt. Brian Edwards was supposed to be preseason superstar.
Yeah.
And guess what? Ruggs got hurt. Edwards finished the game strong and had a touchdown before the bye.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean,
he's not on anybody's list that I saw. I didn't see anybody. So,
but yeah, definitely somebody to consider.
And then Russell Gage, no Russell Gage. We've gauged Russell, and we don't want him on our team. We've gauged his stat skills.
The needle is on empty.
You don't got to ask me twice to dump a guy. Well, here's the thing. I dump guys. My guys that I dumped are on everybody else's teams every year. They're all over the place. I had to drop Khalil Herbert. He's on someone else's team.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, tight ends real quick. I don't like it this week, by the way. Dan Arnold, eight catches, 10 targets, 68 yards. Yet to spike a touchdown. But he's getting his targets. Again, Meyer loves the guy. I don't know. And how about this? Dan Arnold only owned in 5% of leagues. How you guys are good at tight end?
I don't know how he's only owned in 5.
Freiermuth has another.
Go up this week.
Freiermuth has a bad matchup this week as well. But how about his?
Really bad.
In the last 4 or 5 games, in any order, 5, 6, 7, 8 targets. So he's had, what is that? Averaging 6 targets, 6.5 over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I got it. I was doing. Well,
Wait, no. I'm sorry. That was Conklin. I can't read. Freiermuth glued to the field now without Eric Ebron. Hamstring.
He's good to the field.
Conklin had those.
I was considering him for Keeler's Keys, and then I look. The Bears are. You know what?
I don't like him for this week. I said
the Bears have allowed 1 touchdown to tight ends all season, and they've only allowed an average of 3.6 points, fantasy points to tight end per game. They're like one of the best teams in the league against the tight end.
I don't know why. We don't know how.
I don't understand it. I think it's more of a matchup-based thing, but nevertheless, it's hard to play. It would be hard to play this guy against the Bears.
Right on. I'm sorry. It was Conklin that's had 5, 6, 7, and 8 targets for the last 5 weeks for Minnesota. So
very interesting player.
Yes. All right, let's move on to Keeler's Keys, segment number 2 of our show. A great segment. He nailed the quarterbacks last week. Who was Bridgewater, 2 touchdowns. In this segment, we do 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends that are normally lower, and they're going to finish higher than their projected stats because of matchup or opportunity. Robert's going to tell us about it.
So,
fire away.
This week, who do we got? Well, we're going to start at the quarterback position. I like Taysom Hill, ranked 18th this week. Now, I went back and did a little research on our friend Taysom Hill. You know, when he started 4 games last year for the Saints.
I know this. 21 points a game.
Pretty much, he started 24 games. Now, one of the games that he started last year skewed his stats because if you remember, one of the games he started last year was the game against Denver when they didn't have a quarterback. Remember the wide receivers playing quarterback? So literally, they walked on the field and said, well, we're going to win this game. So he really didn't throw that game. So let's throw that game out the window. All right. So in his 3 starts last year, you know what he averaged that time? 252 yards passing per game. Per game and the 3 other starts. He averaged 54 yards on the ground. So almost a total of 300 total yards in the 3 games that were real that he started last year. He threw 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. He rushed for 4 touchdowns. So basically in the 4 starts, he had 8 total touchdowns and 2 picks. So, I mean, you're seeing a guy that can create yardage. He's going to get yards. He's going to create touchdowns. And he's ranked 18th this week. I think if he starts against Atlanta, they said limited practice. Atlanta.
Atlanta. What happened to them last week?
We're going to get into their defense. They're allowing 125 yards a game on the ground, 233 through the air, 68% completion, and 15 touchdown passes in 7 games. So, I mean, you could almost book if Taysom Hill starts, which the concussion situation comes into play. He's going to get at least 2 touchdowns and close to 300, maybe 280, 300 yards of total offense. Help you in the running game because he'll throw in a quick 40, 50 yards rushing. I think he's somebody to really consider in 2 quarterback leagues. Should be putting on your bench, getting ready to put him in.
I love it. And remind me, Michael Thomas missed a whole lot of time last year, too, so you can't hang it up that he was the guy out there catching all the passes.
I'm not worried about that. I'm really not worried about that. I think Taysom Hill, Sean Payton likes that little Swiss Army knife guy and figuring out how to make him work.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be a perfect game to get him started against Atlanta. Atlanta does not have a dynamic defense. So, second quarterback, Mike White. For the Jets, ranked 23rd this week against Colts. Mike White last week.
We all know what happened. You don't get to read
37 of 45, 405, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks against Cincinnati. We're gonna get a little.
Wow,
I'm gonna spend
amazing.
a minute on Mike White.
I think we should.
All right, Mike White, 6'5", 218. He was a 5th round pick in 2018 for the Dallas Cowboys. Went to Western Kentucky. I got a little bit more. Hold on.
I love it.
Mike White. Now, what happened with the Cowboys is the Cowboys were looking for a backup for Dak Prescott. So they said Mike White, Cooper Rush, who's going to be the backup to Prescott? Well, let's be realistic. Mike White did not play well in the 2 preseasons. So that's 2 years he was with the Cowboys. He couldn't beat out Cooper Rush as the backup. He struggled in the preseason. So they said, well, we got to cut you. We can't even put you on the tax. Come on, we're gonna cut you. So the Jets picked him up. Now let's look at the scouting report. I went back to the scouting report when Mike White came out of Western Kentucky.
Hilltoppers.
So, they're the Hilltoppers. He's not very athletic. He's a pocket passer. And in today's NFL, you want a little bit more mobile quarterback. So he wasn't that guy. He's 6'5". He doesn't move around. He's not a quick guy by any stretch. But what he has is the big arm. He was a baseball player in college. He was a pitcher. He threw 90 miles per hour fastballs. So he got a big arm. When everybody talked about Mike White coming in, you're like thinking of like some weak armed.
He sounds like a Mike White. He sounds vanilla. He sounds vanilla.
Willy-nilly quarterback. He's got a big arm. He can throw hard. He's got good touch. He's got good football IQ.
Mike White.
They said he was struggling getting acclimated to the pros in those preseason games with the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't have any patience with him, so they cut him. So the Jets scooped him up, and now he's a prototype for the pocket passer. He's 6'5", and I think he's stuck up on the Bengals a little bit. The Bengals are like, what is this all about?
Oh, yeah, and it stuck on Harlow and Keeps, too. We got out of Survivor.
Yeah, we had the Bengals.
And they had that game. They were up 17 points late.
17 points. So Mike White, big arm, a guy that not your maybe prototypical backup, never got an opportunity. Now he's getting an opportunity. To be interesting to see you do it against Colts. Colts are 20th against the pass in yardage, but 31st in touchdown passes. They've allowed 19 touchdown passes in 8 games, the Colts. That's a lot of touchdown passes. You just don't run. You don't run the ball in. You throw the ball. It's kind of like last week when I was talking about Tannehill. Now it's going to be Mike White. I think you could almost book Mike White for at least 2 touchdown passes.
I love it.
So think about that. I mean, players they have ranked ahead of him. Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor. Yeah.
Tyrod, first game back? Come on.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mike White. I like his
third game Mike White.
I like the third game Mike White against Colts. All right. We're going to go a little deep on running back.
Way deep.
Guy we didn't talk about in waivers, but
he's available, huh?
Rex Burkhead.
Oh, my God.
He's back, baby. He had knee surgery in December. They traded away Mark Ingram. They don't like DJ. They don't like David Johnson. There was talk they were going to trade him. Teams around the NFL are like, you keep him. Lindsey, they don't like him.
This is way out of. I didn't hear anybody talking about Rex Burkhead.
57th this week. He had 4 carries for 21 yards last week. 4 targets, 3 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown. Rex Burkhead is back. He's getting. What his role is going to be? Is it going to be, he had 8 touches, 7 touches last week.
I'm on it. I got to add Rex Burkhead.
If he gets it up to 10 in that offense, he could be their kind of receiving back. I don't think they're real happy with the Lindsey, DJ, and Dontrell Hilliard. I think he got booted. I think Hilliard got traded to Tennessee anyway.
I like Tyrod Taylor, too. I like him. He plays hard.
Tyrod Taylor. I think there's a good chance you see Rex Burkhead in that 4 or 5 catch, really deep leagues, maybe DFS, and when you got no money left, and you're like,
he can't be for 3,000. He'd be 3,000.
I need a running back. Rex Burkhead ranked 57th. I think he was sneaky last week. Not a lot of people saw Rex Burkhead come back.
Rock and roll.
He's back. And then another back. I know what we're gonna say, but he's ranked 49th this week. The Drake, Kenyon Drake. Hate the Drake.
He's been crushing lately.
He's been crushing. Why? Let's talk about it.
Because what's his name's always heard.
Let's talk about 2 things that have been going on with the Drake with the Vegas Raiders. This week they play the Giants. Now, week 6, he had 4 carries, 34 yards, 2 catches, 39, and 2 touchdowns. Week 7, 14 for 69 yards on the ground, 3 catches, 10 yards, and 1 touchdown receiving. Now, what do all these things have in common? Week 6 and 7 and the Drake. John Gruden wasn't there.
He wasn't.
Now, the John Gruden, I don't think was a big fan of the Drake, even though they signed the Drake. Big contract,
the big bucks, yeah.
Big bucks. I didn't see the usage that we've seen in the last 2 weeks with the Drake when Gruden was there. So now Gruden's gone, and like Ron said, Josh Jacobs banged up, always banged up. He's perpetually banged up. So I think the Drake's got some value. I think just like we talked about, because of the bye weeks, a lot of people are dropping these kind of guys. Last week, the Drake was on the bye. Maybe I had to drop him. Somebody to think about seeing if he's on your waiver list. He's been getting a lot of touches. He's been getting, a lot of plays. He's been getting touchdowns. So something to think about, ranked 49th. He's playing the Giants. Giants 26th against the run, 24th against the pass, 15 touchdown passes. In 8 games, you can almost book Derek Carr's going to throw a couple touchdown passes. He's been fine in the Drake. Look at the Drake.
Love it.
All right, we're going to move on to Thursday Night Football. Thursday. The Colts, ranked 58 this week. Zach Pascal versus the Jets. Last 2 games, 6 targets, 3 for 14. Last week, 8 targets, 5 for 43. And we know who's out. T.J. Hilton's out. He's already been ruled out for the Jet game. Gone. So, who's that leave? It's going to leave Pittman and Pascal. How do you attack the Jets? They're 26 against the pass, 275 through the air per game. I think Carson Wentz is going to have to try to have a little reboundy of a game. We talked about his struggles. I think Pascal's going to get at least 7-8 targets, maybe 9-10. He might move it up to a little higher without Hilton around. I think he's a sneaky play, ranked 58 this week. And then another play, guy that's been well underachieving this year. Ranked 50.
Say it.
Don't say
Allen Robinson. Don't say Allen Robinson.
It is not Allen Robinson.
Okay, thank you.
It is
It couldn't be. It couldn't be. I know how you feel about it. I know about you. You have less positive to say about Allen Robinson than I do. So why would I even think that? Why would I? It is my birthday today, so give me one excuse. I didn't even mention it.
We'll give you one. Allen Robinson.
I wasn't going to be.
All right. It's going to be ranked 56 this week. Brandon Ayuk.
Oh,
for the
my.
49ers. Now, there's a man who's been underachieving.
Wow,
No doubt about it.
even worse than A-Rod.
No doubt about it. However, we got two things going for us.
We
One.
have, yeah.
One, last week he had 7 targets, 4 for 45. He looked alive.
He did look alive.
And 2, Deebo Samuel has a bad calf. There's a chance he doesn't play.
And when he's hurt, he misses.
And he misses.
He don't play hurt.
He's that player that tries to stretch the field. His calf, very important to him. And even if he does play, he may be on a snap count, might be limited. And I think Ayuk could be coming back to relevancy. So somebody to take a look at, ranked 56, went a little deep there. But you got to go deep. You got to go deep.
You got to go.
You got to go. All right. We're going to go deep at tight end. We're going into the kiddie pool.
Gosh, you're going to get.
Is that deep or
that's the
that's
no, that's shallow.
Right?
That's a shallow one. We're in the abyss.
We are in the abyss.
We're
going in the abyss. Like where the
that's
octopus,
the deepest.
where the kraken lives.
Right.
We're going to where the kraken
The octopus's
lives.
garden.
Right. In the shade. Listen, we're going ranked 22nd this week. Albert Okwuegbunam.
This was my guy. Oh, that's what's my guy. Albert O. Albert O is good. I call him Albert O.
He's on Denver.
We know why he's playing.
This week.
We know why we love him.
We know why we love him because Font's not playing.
Yeah.
Last week, 3 targets, 3 catches, 34 yards. Now, what do we know about this Albert O? He's 6'5", 258. He was a 4th-round pick out of Missouri in 2020 for Denver. So he's not, he's got some draft stock. He's not some bum they found on the street somewhere. Very athletic. If you remember the touchdown in week 1, he made that little move and then he scooted across the 5 and he was going around people. He made a very athletic touchdown. Everybody's like, who is that guy?
It's Albert O.
It's Albert O. Now he's got his opportunity. Opportunity's knocking because Font's out. Ranked 22nd, somebody to think about. And Dallas 21st against tight end versus points per game. Almost 10 points a game they're allowing to fantasy tight ends. Somebody to think about. And I don't know. Maybe in the history of Keeler's Keys, have I found Yahoo ranks 36 players every
position.
week at tight end. Okay.
Okay.
This man is not ranked. He's off the charts.
This next one or
this
Albert?
This next one. No,
this
Albert was 22nd.
Do I even know this guy? I know who Albert O is.
This man is off the charts. He's not even on the charts. He's I don't know where he is. His name. Josiah DeGuara. You go, who the hell is this guy?
You pick this one. If this one happens, you should go to Vegas. DeGuara?
Josiah DeGuara. He's Green Bay's tight end. Now the Tanyan's out. He had 2 catches. He had 2 targets, 2 catches for 20 yards last week against Arizona once Tanya went out. Mm-hmm. He's 6'2", 238. He was a 3rd-round draft pick by Green Bay in 2020. He's not no chump. He was from Cincinnati. Excellent. He's your typical 6'2", 238 guy. He's that guy who can catch the ball, but he's not much of a blocker, right? He's an excellent receiver, vertical route runner. His NFL comp, they said, was Tyler Conklin. So now that Tanya's out, they didn't trade for Ingram. There was talk that Green Bay was going to trade for Evan Ingram. I think they wanted no part of that nonsense. And I was a little bit more excited about this guy when I thought Rodgers was going to play, but I'm still excited. Jordan Love's going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy.
Jordan Love might even go with him more because they probably played together on practice squads and stuff.
Dumping the ball off. I mean, this guy isn't 3rd-round pick. Not some guy that undrafted free agent. He's got draft stock. Somebody to keep an eye on. If he scores this week, I might faint.
I'm rooting for you. Keeler's Keys, everybody. Let's get out. Quick break for our fine sponsors. Brought to you in part by this great emblem on my left breast here. It's Springer Realty. Here's our friends from Loan Depot. It's Christine Reiser.
A local mortgage lender who has the answers when you need them. In this fast-paced housing market, when is now. And your lender is Christine Reiser from Loan Depot. Her years of well-rounded experience, including time as a realtor, will put your stress to rest. Call Christine Reiser at 219-789-8313. Christine is available days, nights, and weekends to take you from pre-approval to loan closing. For a conventional mortgage, FHA, VA, USDA, or if you need help with down payment assistance programs, she's got you covered. Dial 219-789-8313 if you're looking to buy a home in Indiana, Illinois, or Arizona. Let Christine Reiser and Loan Depot be your guide. NMLS number 1447958.
Since 1964, Springer Realty has been helping homeowners save thousands when buying or selling their home. Springer Realty is locally owned, provides full service start to finish, and will handle all the paperwork and details. Why pay those high commissions in a seller's market when one phone call can literally save you thousands? Visit us at SpringerSellsHomes.com or call 219-838-0180. Springer Realty.
Baxter Printing is a family-owned and operated union print shop that has been serving Lake County, Indiana for over 50 years. They specialize in commercial and political printing like brochures, mailings, banners, and signs. Now located at 311 North Broad Street in Griffith, the folks at Baxter know how to get your job done right and on time. Call 219-923-1999 or visit us at BaxterPrint.com and see what Baxter Printing can do for you.
Looking for a friend who knows how to be a good listener? Humane Indiana in Munster has four-legged friends waiting to meet you. Open daily at 11 a.m., Humane Indiana provides many animal services from rescue to daily care. They provide on-site education while managing a wildlife preserve. At the main facility located at 421 45th Street, the staff awaits your visit. Ron Harlow Media would like to thank Director Brian Fitzpatrick and Board Vice President Scott Filler from Apex Construction and Remodeling for their support. Visit Humane Indiana and leave with a new member of the family. To find out more, visit the Humane Indiana website or dial 219-922-3811.
All right, welcome back to the second half. We're going to blast away. Great segment, as always. Keeler's Keys. We love it. It's hopefully bringing some winners to your fantasy teams. Let's get through some streamers real quick. QBs and Ds, a lot of folks do it. I do it, certainly on defenses. Let's start with the D that we've been chasing. We quite often we go after the Jets. Now, I'm not saying that Mike White's not going to have a good game. I'm not. But here's the stats. Stat time.
That time.
Jets are 28th in total offense. Now, that could change, I guess. Second in giving up turnovers, 8th in sacks, and they currently lead fantasy leagues in giving up points to defenses.
Yeah, I mean,
he can still.
Yeah.
Dallas gives up 300 yards every week. He still has a good fantasy output. I think the Colts are playing this week. A team I like better that could be available because they were just on the bye. Saints D, and they played Tampa last week. Nobody wanted to play them against Tampa.
Right.
And how'd they do? They lit it up. Do you know Tampa? The Saints D are 7th overall in my leagues.
Yeah,
based on the points that we have. So
well, they got a couple pick sixes. Not last week, but I think they got 3 for the year, so that really helps,
and the
sacks.
Falcons
picks.
didn't really look good with against the Ridley-less Falcons. I guess.
Yeah, they look listless.
Right on. I had the Raiders in this column a couple weeks ago. Didn't really work out as much. I think when I saw the first, I saw that first pick from Danny Dimes last week, and it was right to the defender. He was wide open. It was not even thrown at the guy that he. It wasn't within 10 feet of the guy. I like Danny Dimes, but it was an awful throw. Currently, the Giants' O-line is really sketchy, mega injuries, receiving core banged up. I think that the Raiders can spike some for you. So that's 3 QBs. Tua. Bills, again, this is a crazy. Bills have tough. They've been held teams to 5 yards per play on the season. 4 carries a game. Again, it's versus who does Tua play? Houston. Yep. So, again, we saw Tua have a tough game last week, obviously, because of those stats I gave you. I got Taysom next. I probably could put him ahead. Did you say this stat again? The 4 starts last year, he finished as QB 3, 8, 13, and 11. Yep. He starts Thursday night. I think that wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. He doesn't start Thursday night. Wentz starts Thursday night.
Keep an eye on Taysom Hill. If he practices, gets a full practice in before the end of the week, he'll probably start.
I actually have Mike White here, and I'll tell you why. 80%, 82% completion percentage. Game script may call for him to pass, and Cincinnati's D was like they were playing well, and so he lit them up. No doubt about that.
Going into last week, the Bengals were probably the number 1 seed in the AFC, and the Jets beat them. It tells you all you need to know about the parity of football. So.
And it gets like that. I mean, we think Detroit stinks. They got into a game with Baltimore. They almost won like 4 games.
And any given Sunday,
Good call.
You think you know, and you don't know.
This was a for sure that week. All right, let's get into the game analysis real quick. Let's talk. We talked a lot about the Jets. Corey Davis still, it's a hip injury, so that could hold him out a while. They're looking for pass catchers there. We like Crowder. We don't even know the tight end is Elijah Moore. I don't know, but I mean that we didn't say much. Michael Carter, again, a guy who was definitely dropped earlier in the season.
Yep.
He is
by somebody.
I think he was the number 1 scoring running back last week, I believe. Michael Carter
I think he was.
So,
yeah. I mean, when you get Mike White is the new Alex Smith, the king of the check down. So he does like to check the ball down.
That's why you get 82% completion
helps
percent.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, keeps the clock running, keeps things moving. Don't take a sack. Don't take it incomplete.
What did Carter? 9 catches? Carter?
Yeah, and 9 catches. I mean, he had a really good game. He's obviously the most dynamic running back they have. We said he was going to be a later season guy more than the early weeks, and then we're seeing that. And the Jets look like a halfway normal. Let's see Mike White do it 2 weeks in a row, but the Jets look halfway normal.
They do. So, on the other side of the ball, Colts-wise, I'm with you now that we've had a chance to think about it. I think Jonathan Taylor would be my number 1 pick if I drafted today.
Yeah, I think
just
he would
because
be.
He is running away from guys. He looks like the guys are standing still, a la Derrick Henry.
Yep.
A little bit. And so he's goal. We got some Zach Pascal love. Michael Pittman's playing well.
Yep.
What do you think of Wentz against this? Going to the again, 3 touchdowns, first 3 touchdowns of the game. Yep. Carson Wentz, think he's gonna have a good game, big game. Do you think he can be again? Fantasy doesn't mean anything about winning the game.
Well, I think Wentz knows he has to have kind of a little bit of a rebound game. Let's put it bluntly, he blew the game last week with his turnovers. So I think you're going to see him. I think the Jets don't have a dynamic pass rush. They don't have a dynamic secondary. I think you'll see Wentz do some things. He'll make a comeback this week. So
Mo Alley Cox, TD dependent tight end for
TD
sure.
Dependent.
All right, Denver, we got Albert O, baby. We got Albert O. The rest of the wideouts didn't really do so well with everybody together. It was Tim Patrick had the most yards, 50 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
But
too many. A lot of mouths to feed. They were getting Melvin Gordon got a touchdown catch. There's a lot of dudes running around touching the ball.
Melvin Gordon had the only 2 touchdowns in the game. Rushing one too.
Exactly.
And then Javonte did that.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, they're never going to be this dynamic passing team. They're playing Dallas. They're probably going to have to chase things. I think you'll probably see more production out of their passing game because it's going to be a necessity against Cowboys.
Right on.
Right? Cowboys averaging 35 points a game.
And that might lean. I know. What's funny is I've only played Javonte Williams 1 game and he scored 17 points for me 2 weeks ago. So thank God.
Right
but
now,
man, what are you doing? Melvin Gordon's playing well. I mean,
everybody assumed that eventually Melvin Gordon would be pushed aside for the younger player, but he didn't get the memo. Memo didn't get to Melvin Gordon.
That's true. I don't know what you're doing there. I apologize for advocating.
It's kind of a 50-50, and it's a toss-up who gets a touchdown every week. So
on the other side of the ball, the still undefeated against the spread in 2021 Dallas Cowboys.
This is true.
And again, that one was sick. A sick win last week. We had him. I had him. I
think even the Cowboys are like, well, we're gonna lose the game. Cooper Rush is playing. Wait, we won? What? Holy, what happened? Happened?
Adam Schefter has him as his long shot 5 minutes before kickoff. He's a good guy. On the other, all right, what we got limited. CeeDee Lamb's limited with an ankle. Cooper's limited with a foot injury.
I think it's the same maintenance.
Yeah, let's hope.
We've seen this time and again with veteran type players who don't need to practice.
Do they have they have what's it called? There's a stat out there for that talks about the distance of separation that wide receivers get. Have you heard about that?
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb's the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Did you know that? He's getting.
Well, he's definitely a dynamic player. I mean,
he is open.
They're using him kind of how we expected him to use him this year. They're really moving him around the field, inside, outside.
Now that Gallup's supposed to be back this week, said Wilson touchdown last week.
He had a big touchdown.
Dalton Schultz still anything? I mean, obviously we think he's probably reached his
They're
sort
kind
of
of
peak.
they're kind of marginalizing that tight end position on the Cowboys. Early on, it was kind of like a thing, and then the last 2, 3, 4 games, just
Yeah.
suddenly you're seeing the 3 receivers getting fed, not
Which
the
we need,
tight end.
absolutely.
Right.
Zeke, I don't know, not playing like a number one. What are you gonna do? You're gonna play him.
Got playing.
Buffalo, Jacksonville. When does Buffalo ever play a tough team, by the way? Good Lord.
And
I mean, it's like weekend.
well,
they're
they
14-point favorite every week.
Well, they said with their division the way it is, with New England, the Jets, and Miami, they've got the easiest schedule right now on paper the rest of the way. So they got a clear road to that number 1 seed in the AFC.
Rock and roll. We like the Beasley. What happened to Emmanuel Sanders last week? 0 for 4 on his targets. So
the Buffalo, I don't know if they were looking past Miami, but
they were asleep for the first half.
They really struggled. And, I mean, I love Josh Allen, but he's taken from last year's statistics, he's going to take a little step back this year.
Obviously. Any word on Dawson Knox? Probably supposed to practice in a week.
Supposed to practice in a week. He might be back next week or a week after.
So grab him if he's out there.
Yeah,
he might be.
Maybe a pickup.
On Jacksonville's side, it was a 48.5 is the over-under. I bet Buffalo can cover every bit of that.
Yeah.
James Robinson, God. And I was just talking to my wife about it. I go, I love the way James Robinson runs, but Dan, and we all do, but man, he runs so hard, he's bound to get hurt. It happened. 4 carries, 22 yards, had 1 catch, 17 yards. I don't know about I mean, I have James Robinson in 2 leagues, and I don't think I'm putting myself in a very good position to pick up Carlos Hyde at all yet. I already put my waivers in.
Not picking up
I don't think
Carlos
I mean, there's a chance I can get him. There is.
Yeah.
I have him on lists, but I don't. He's pretty far down there. I don't know what you want to go there. Dan Arnold we like. Agnew we like. It's you know who's going to take the big hit? I think is Laviscus with Agnew.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones going to still be the down field threat.
Yeah.
Didn't have a very good game last week either.
Yeah, it's quite clear that Urban Meyer isn't in love with Laviscus.
Right. He's chubby. I think he's chubby. Buffalo's D, of course. Buffalo's kicker, of course. Moving on to the Battle of Ohio every year. Cleveland versus Cincinnati. Cleveland, wow, 10 points. No fantasy player, no player on Cleveland scored more than 10 fantasy points in a game. That's hard to do. That's hard to do unless you get shut out in a rainbow. Bears did. Bears got shut out in a rainbow on a Monday night. I remember watching
We got a text from Trish.
Yes.
She said, I heard that being on the Manning broadcast curses an active player. Gronk got the punctured lung and Josh Allen? So she's saying now that we're talking about Josh Allen, he could be in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Well, he was on the Manning show, too, this week.
I watched a little bit of that. It was all right. I did.
Not bad.
There was a subject they talked about that only quarterbacks would have known about, and I can't remember what it was.
I like that.
Dang, that was pretty.
See,
there's no other way.
Right.
There's no. They wouldn't even like you and me as we would never thought about that aspect of being a football.
That's the only. That's what I like to hear them talk about. Things that I would go. Well, I would never hear that in a regular broadcast.
You got that right.
From a quarterback perspective.
Chubb back. Dearness didn't do much. OBJ not with the team.
Didn't do much. That was just a old-fashioned '70s game. Where there was nothing going on.
Punt,
hit, snap, punt.
Rock and roll.
I mean, that's just. I mean, Cleveland.
Chubb.
I think
Chubb, and that's it for me.
I think what Mayfield's limitations because of his left shoulder. I mean, they're not going to throw the ball 30, 40 times. They can't.
Right. So, on the other side, Cincinnati. Tyler Boyd gets off the schneid with a big one. Good for you, Tyler.
Yep.
Chase a down game. He was due for one.
The Bengals scored enough points to win that game. They just didn't win.
I can't believe they didn't win that game. I'm so upset still.
You can play all the dudes on the Bengals.
All the dudes on the Bengals. How about, knock on wood, Mexican. Did you see? You didn't watch. I know you didn't watch that game as close as I did. No chance. It was like 6 carries for -4 yards for Mixon to start the game. He didn't have positive yardage till late in the second.
I did not see that.
I'm going, oh my God. Then he ended up with 2 touchdowns. So
yeah.
No complaints there. Mix, keep doing it. All right, New England and Carolina. How about this? 3.5-point favorites on the road with a rookie quarterback, no established wide receivers, and a defense that's been on and off and let Houston smack them around.
Right.
It feels like a Carolina game, but I don't. How the hell did they? How did Carolina win last week?
I think Vegas is saying to Ron and the world, You cannot trust Sam Darnold right now.
At
He
all.
just looks out of sorts. He's not accurate. I watched a couple drives they had. I went, whoa. He almost looked. Now I wouldn't say he looks scared, but he looks confused. He looks like a confused player. Like
Look at me.
all of
I
a
do
sudden
it.
he forgot what was going on.
I'm a professional improviser. Is this the look?
There you go. See, Ron got the look. I mean, Darnold's just
Sorry, Sam.
he's just looking
Dang.
lost. And Robbie Anderson, he's on he's sitting there. Every time I look at my waiver list, 89% owned. There's Robbie Anderson just sitting there, and I look at him, and I'm like,
No.
I can't pick him up.
No way.
There's no way. But you know what's going to happen, right? The first game he has 4 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Everybody's going to run it and go get
Finally,
Robbie
Robbie's
Anderson.
back.
He's back.
Let's talk one moment on Sam Darnold. He hasn't been good yet. There's been quarterbacks you can name, 10, 20. They just keep getting chances. Keep getting chances for 10, 20 years. How does that happen?
Well, it shows you the lack of
Confidence in it.
confidence and a lack of.
Because if Rush and White can do what they did, we don't even know who the hell they are. And Darnold was the number one stupid pick.
Well, it's all about quantity. There's not enough good quarterbacks around, so if they think you have any arm talent, somebody thinks they can reclimate you and work and make you work, right? And
Kurt Warner made it look easy.
they think you're the next Jim Plunkett or
Achilles Smith. There's a good one. Oh, my God.
King Smith never got reclamated,
Yeah.
but like a Jim Plunkett
Oh, I see
or.
what you're saying.
Remember, he was like the first pick for New England. He was a bust. He went to 49ers, and with the Raiders won 2 Super Bowls, I might add.
Right, I forget.
But
Yeah.
the point is, I mean, everybody thinks you could take this guy and work with him. And I think this is going to be his last opportunity. I mean, and he'll be backup material after this. So
I'm still only playing. Out of all the wide receivers,
I
I'm
don't
only
like it.
playing Henry and Jacoby Myers. Another 2-point conversion for Jacoby Myers last week.
yeah, no
Still
touchdowns.
no touchdown. No 2-point conversion. Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson saw the field. I faced him in one. I faced him in one league too, by the way, which was a blessing.
Had like four
Not
carries,
good.
24
What are you doing
yards.
there? We said right. Bolden got it a little bit.
It's a 3-headed
Harris.
monster.
It's Harris, and that's it though. We like Harris, but
Yeah.
and Carolina. CMC due back, I guess. They're activating him. Are you playing him if he plays?
Once they activate him, they got 21 days to put him back on the team or on the active roster. So he still might miss this week. So keep an eye on.
I did hear the word was pretty limited, pretty sore
Right.
still.
So my guess is not till week 10.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, me too. Dang.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ah.
Vegas and Giants. Vegas and Giants, 2.5 point road dog for Vegas. We like the Drake. We like. How can you not like Brian? I mean, how do you not consider playing a Brian Edwards or a Renfro just based
Well,
on volume?
you're gonna have to play those guys on volume.
It's sometimes
Renfro,
sooner. I mean, if you
I
got
mean, a
better,
lot-
you got better,
a lot
but
of
they're
people are-
viable.
A lot of people are yapping about Renfro, like he's only gonna get now that Ruggs ain't around, you can almost guarantee at least 10 targets for Renfro. So
Yeah, they love underneath stuff there.
they love the underneath stuff. So and Waller, hopefully he's healthy and back this
Right.
week. So
Derek Carr gonna throw 2 TDs, guaranteed. And
Guaranteed.
I like Vegas's D this week. One, my God, from the frying pan to the fryer, Barkley going on the COVID. Was he supposed to play? Because why would they change his designation if he wasn't supposed to play because he's hurt? Just leave him there.
they were talking that he might come back this week, but then I think the Giants are off next week, so everybody's like, why would you bring him back and then go to your off week? But when you're talking about the Giants, you don't know what you're talking about because did you see after the game the head coach blamed the headphones?
You're kidding.
No. Joe Judge, he started moaning that the headphones kept cutting out, and that's why because if you notice, like, if you watched some of the decision-making he made late in that game, could be quite questionable. Like when they went for the field goal instead of going for the first down, blah, blah, blah. Well, he said it was because his headphones kept going out, so he couldn't communicate. So he wanted the NFL to look into it, and the NFL rolled their eyes and said, all right, sure, it's all the headphones' fault. That you're an idiot.
I want to make a comment about a guy that I've always thought was sort of a secondary player, but I thought looked pretty good because I watched this game. I thought Devontae Booker looked like a real running back.
Yeah, he looked a little bit spry
better.
than normal.
Yeah, I mean, he played 6 catches, got to his 18, 65 and 65 roughly, rushing and receiving, 6 catches.
Yeah, he looked kind of normal.
He's a volume usage king. He's absolutely in my lineup this week.
He looked a little bit more dynamic than
Yeah,
normal.
I
Like the
did
week
too.
before, I was like,
you didn't look so hot, huh? And he didn't look so hot the week before that.
but I mean, yeah, he did have his moments. So
All right, let's keep moving. Atlanta, New Orleans, Atlanta. Cordell Patterson, thank you for just keep doing it every week.
Yeah.
It's just
thanks for doing it for somebody else. Thank you.
He's on one of my teams, eighth ranked running back, guys. 8 years in the league to get to the 8th ranked running back.
He will be. He will probably go down as the pickup of the year.
Pitts is the guy. I know he didn't have a great week. We love him this week, though. I do. I don't know about the rest of the wide receiver corps.
I mean, the problem with Pitts is, he needs a wide receiver to stretch the field and be a guy they have to watch. There was like at least 6-7 plays where I saw Pitts. There were 2 dudes bracketing him. They did not worry about anybody else.
I hate it.
Atlanta got to think about scheming and getting
Right.
Pitts one-on-one again. That's how he dominates.
Bubble screen.
1-on-1.
Yep.
On the sideline by himself.
New Orleans. I mean, are you dressing Callaway for your squad? Marcus Callaway, is it time for getting him in? I don't know. I don't know how deep you are. Another 30 yards, whatever.
He got hurt. I mean, this could be.
Takes time. If he gets 300 yards.
Yeah, you got to throw somebody.
I like Callaway this week.
I think Kamara will be fine with it.
It's Atlanta. Don't forget. Still Atlanta. Kamara's going to have a big game. Kamara's going to have
a huge game.
No doubt. Minnesota, Baltimore, one of my bets that might surprise you. Minnesota's in every game they're in, so we're gonna talk about that later for sure. But who's just? I would be healthy or not, I'd be a very disappointed Dalvin Cook fan. Where's the big bust? Where's the big bust out game? Where's the 3 touchdown game?
Haven't had a burst game. He hasn't had that. I mean, he's
had some big rushing games, but no big touchdown games.
Big touchdowns. He's not going to get in that 14, 15
Where's
range.
Where's the out of the backfield receiving yardage? It's just not there.
It's not there.
Funnel. I don't know, but you're playing him obviously. Thielen, keep doing it, man. I never sit him, and everybody know, but everybody says, "Well, you better trade him. He's a burr. Guys."
That's my friend Mike. Mike's always every time I see Mike, he's like, "I don't like Thielen." I go, "Well,
trade him to me.
Trade him to me. I'll take him." And then he gets a touchdown. He's like, "I'm not trading him."
That touchdown is so. What do you call it? To have that in your pocket, that's 6 catches. That's 6 catches. 6 points.
I mean, over the last, maybe for next week I'll do a little study, but over the last 3-4 years, he's got to be in the top 3 in receiver touchdowns.
Let me ask you,
I'll look into it.
Not a big game with 2 catches, was it? 24 years. Not a big game for Justin Jefferson. Is Thielen ranked before? Is Thielen ranked above him for the year? Maybe I'd have to look into that.
Probably
because of the touchdowns.
Yes. I mean Jefferson just. He hasn't been getting open like last year. They've been using him as kind of the downfield guy. And Cousins did not throw downfield last week. He just refused to throw the ball. Push the ball upfield. Dallas is like, hey, we're gonna make you work the ball. Everything's gonna be underneath, and it takes away Jefferson's game.
We like Conklin as a you should play tight end this week. Yeah. Baltimore's not the shutdown D.
Baltimore's not that good against tight end. I think they're ranked 30th or 31st.
Play all your Baltimore guys that catch the ball. Who do you think's going to run the ball? I mean, Murray was hurt.
They're hoping Latavius Murray's back a little.
He's
healthier.
Available. Would you pick him up? He's available. I'm not there either.
I think Baltimore's running game is going to be like a lot of teams, like Philadelphia. Or there's going to be 3 dudes. They're going to be dudes running around and Lamar Jackson. So
right, so there you go.
There's going to be no volume on anybody. Oh, the days of J.K. Dobbins. It would have been gravy days.
Well, how about this? My man Keeler's got more than a player to play than Brandon Cooks on Houston, right?
Rex Burkhead.
We like Rex Burkhead there. If you're looking for, again, dude, I faced Gio, Stevenson, and Traquan Smith last week. Anything could be out there right now after that. I can't believe that.
At the running back position.
Sometimes people find the gem. Rex Burkhead's done it before, for stretches.
Yeah, he does a little stretch. He gets 4 or 5 catches, bangs another touchdown in. Everybody will be ready to pick him up.
That's it, though. Nobody else there. Miami.
Nobody else there.
Devontae Parker, stepping on the maiden voyage of Jalen Waddle, that's for sure. He's clearly
Parker limited today in practice, but the targets have been there, no doubt about it.
Gaskin flex. That's nothing more than that. I don't. He's never going to be a number 2.
This week against Houston, though,
maybe a number 2.
Miami should put up some points. I think Gaskin scores.
Jaceki in. Moving on. Chargers, Philly. Chargers still a little disappointing. I mean, they're talking about Herbert being still a top 10 quarterback, but don't forget, he had like 3 weeks where it was 3, 4, and 4, where I had him on the bench for Cousins. Now I got him in the lineup, and he's scored 6 points against Baltimore, and last week was terrible.
They've got a little bit of a
Mike Williams dipping, finally falling off.
I think combined with Mike Williams, going back on the milk carton, we knew that Genie, whatever wish he got out of his Genie bottle, Genie went back in. But I mean, he's just been non-existent, and Herbert's in that little bit of that sophomore struggle. He'll find his way. I think in real football, he's still a top 10 quarterback.
Absolutely.
But fantasy-wise, he's hit a little bump in the road here.
The problem with Keenan Allen's never been a big touchdown guy.
Not a big yardage guy. He's a PPR guy.
He's a collector.
Good, solid collector, right? Yeah, so that's why Mike Williams was the stretcher. He was, early in the season, he was getting downfield.
And Jared Cook's supposed to be a stretcher tight end, too. Yeah. He's not one of those medium-range guys. He's a down or downfield tight end.
I think one day you'll see the Chargers turn the switch back on.
I hope so. And maybe it's this week. Philadelphia's defense ain't it?
Yeah.
Although, how about it? Shout out to Philly's defense. Harlow had Chargers defense in. I go, you know what? They give up a lot of teams. They give up a lot of points to the run. Let's see who defenses are available this Sunday morning. Philadelphia was there. 19 points. So.
They did well against Detroit.
Heck, it should have been more. There should have been a shutout. It should have been a shutout. Philadelphia, I don't know. Hurts always 20. He's only missed 20 points one game. We like Scott. What about Devontae Smith? Another stinker. Rager, 100% stinkers.
I don't think there's any volume on the receivers except Goddard.
And still, I'd rather play somebody else.
No, even that's not great.
Yeah, I know.
But the receiver,
how does he get to 20?
I don't think the receivers. I don't think Philly's ever going to have a volume receiver right now with the way their offense is structured, with the coaching, with the way Hurts doesn't throw the ball, 30, 40 times. So.
Doesn't like it. All right, moving on. Arizona, Kyle Murray, Aylin. I don't know what you're going to do with it. He's going to play.
Oh, I said, is he going to play?
Right. Chase Edmonds' first touchdown of the year against me, by the way. Of course, and in the league.
James Conner, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, James Conner on fire. You can't sit that guy.
You cannot sit.
Nuke and Kirk, and maybe Rondell Moore this week, but Conner's got to play. Moving on. San Fran. Again, this game, it says 1.5. This game is down to 1 after San Fran was getting their butts handed to them by the Chicago Bears. That is a surprise to me, Robert. I don't know if that's one of your games. Maybe it is. It stands out as an outlier. Elijah Mitchell, DNP, Debo hurting, Kittle just coming back. Why the hell is Arizona, who just got lost?
I think Vegas knows Murray ain't playing.
I think that Vegas knows Murray ain't playing.
I think with that line not moving, Vegas.
They want you to bet everybody. Yeah. Everybody wants you to bet on Arizona,
and then they're gonna pull that.
Who is Arizona's backup QB?
Colt McCoy.
Okay,
our old friend. I've been on many teams in many places. Colt McCoy.
He says he's got the football player's name, boy. Colt. I mean, what are you gonna do with that?
I think Colt McCoy is he the quarterback who made $26 million being the backup, and he's thrown
maybe
he started 4 games in his career.
All right, we got no time for anecdotes. Green Bay, Kansas City, same deal. A-Rod may not play.
Who?
Oh, A-Rod is not playing.
He's not playing. A-Rod is not playing.
So Aaron Rodgers, you got to play him. Devontae, you got to play him. But we like the tight end, maybe.
I like my tight end.
Jordan Love, 5 for 7 in his career for 68 yards. I did see that. He's got a nice completion percentage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
the preseason he didn't play well. I think he's going to be in trouble chasing.
I think again, this game's already moved a half point to Kansas City to 7.5. I think it's probably going to go to 10.
I think when people start betting, it'll go to 9 or 10. Yeah.
Kansas City, boy. I mean, regular players, Darren Williams, and that's it.
Obviously, you're not going to bench Tyreek Hill.
No reason. How did we talk about it? There's no reason to talk about that. Moving on. Tennessee at the Rams. The biggest over-under on the board, 53.5. Yep. After adding Von Miller even. I'm surprised too. I should go the under there. Tennessee, right? We've got question marks behind the quarterback there, so we'll see what they do. But I think if AD plays, I think he's going to play. I think he's in week 1. I don't. How could you not? They don't have anybody. They got a little squirt.
It depends. I mean, we don't know what kind of
We don't
legs
know.
does he have. Is he in football conditioning where they ain't gonna kill him by putting him out there? Good question. Let's see if he practices Thursday or Friday.
And it's the Rams' tough D. And the middle's going to get harder to run in with Von Miller there. I'm going to switch my guys maybe because I need a guy this week.
Mm-hmm.
Rams, Henderson playing great. Stay healthy, stay vertical, baby.
Yeah.
Sonny Michel, not much of a factor, but
40 yards last week.
Robert
and
Woods,
mop-up time.
Robert Woods, a DNP in practice today.
Yeah.
Who knows? Van Jefferson make over a bigger
Maybe
role.
Van Jefferson.
I'm gonna be looking.
Maybe.
I'm looking for anybody for Tyler Higbee this week. I'm not kidding you. Don't want him. Monday night, Chicago at Pitt.
That's Monday night game?
Monday night.
I didn't know they put the Pitt in Chicago on Monday night.
All right,
Wow.
Chicago Pitt
Wow.
Monday night.
I did not.
The lowest over under of the week at 40s.
Ooh.
I
Wow.
got a story betting an under. You can't bet under 40, by the way. I have bet 1-1. I got a great story, but I'll save it for later. Chicago, I don't know who you're playing. Khalil Herbert, moving on. Pittsburgh, you're playing Najee Harris, moving on. I don't know. Because we like Freiermuth. We don't like him. Dante Jones,
Don't like
obviously,
him this week probably, but
You don't like both the defenses.
you gotta like the D. I think this
Score it
will
up.
be an interesting game. A lot of field goals.
Right on. All right, where's the wagers? Let's get it going, baby. Here we are. Again, we made it not too bad. Robert and I both got knocked out of the survival. We should have had Philly. That's who we obviously should have had.
Well, I mean, and a lot of survivor pools now let you pick the same team twice.
Well, twice. We used to be able to
or
pick,
as many times as you
yeah,
want.
we did that. That was old. That's old school.
Yeah, that's old school. Because
'Cause
I would have definitely took the Rams last week again.
Right.
I would not have taken a road team.
I'm going to tell you when that changed. Specifically when that changed, and I know it was when it was Denver. It was Denver. John Elway went like 14-0 and lost to the Colts.
Yeah.
But it was they run these things Denver.
Yeah.
They were so good that year. TD Terrell Davis year, right?
Yeah.
So we knew he was going to tear it up. All right, let's go. Wagers. Hey guys, after that crazy week, Harlow and Keefe still went 4-2, and dumbass bet against Aaron Rodgers and for Kyler Murray, who I really don't like as a player. Just what I was saying to Robert, I got that. Oh my gosh, no Devontae, no Lazard, tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday, Robert said it earlier. I got tunnel vision and let my guard down on Aaron Rodgers, and I should not have. So I should have gone 3-0. Robert's picks were amazing, I thought, last week. So right now, guys, we stand at 27, 20, and 1. Find guys doing better than that. I'm asking you. All right, Harlow's jumping in the over-under bandwagon this week. I couldn't find a lot of lines that I liked, although I like the Buffalo, but 14.5 is a big, big number. I'm going to take an over-under. Baltimore, Minnesota's right at 49.5. I'm going with the running game there. Baltimore going to keep it under 7 touchdowns, under 49. Switch that.
It's not a bad call there. That's a pretty big number for
I thought
those
so.
two teams.
I couldn't find a number I liked. I go, dude, I scanned
Big
the over-unders for about 10 minutes. Let's look at all of them. Find one you like. Because, you go to the high end, you get screwed. Low end, you get screwed. You got to find that one in the middle.
Yeah.
The winners are those 46 and 46.5. You just got you got to have what do you call the right game script in your head.
I think at one point last week, the early games, there was 3 games that were 3-3 at the half. That was how bad.
Yeah.
Fantasy
and Buffalo was one of them.
Fantasy wise and real football wise last week, that's what kind of week it was. Anyway.
Right. I'm going to take, again, Minnesota's been in every game. I'll kick the same game. I will take Minnesota plus the 6.
Even when they lose, it's close.
If Detroit can hang with them, Minnesota, again, they're going to be mad and one. I think they can cover the 6. And then I think that Taysom Hill is a player. And he's going to be good for the first game. And the Saints D is good. Atlanta is not good. I'll take New Orleans minus the 6 and hope it doesn't go up. Robert.
Atlanta is not good. I like that. All right, I'm going with the undefeated team. I'm going with the Cowboys. Giving the 10 to Denver Broncos at home. I think that I'm going to gamble that Prescott's playing. Denver's 1-4 at the spread their last 5 games. I think they're free falling in real football and against the spread. I don't think there's a morale thing with Von Miller getting traded away. It's like basically, well, I guess we gave up on the season and we traded away Von Miller. So I think Denver could be in a little bit of trouble with Vic Fangio losing his job. He's in hot water. So I like the Cowboys and Prescott to score they're averaging 35 points a game. So that means Denver's got to get to into the 20s. They're going to struggle a little bit. And like you said, you like Dallas's D a little bit. They're a little sneaky D.
They're tough, guys.
In Dallas. They'll like it. I like Buffalo giving the 14.5. I think Jacksonville's another team that's done. They're 1-5 at the spread. Their last 6 home games. I think Jacksonville, they're just bad. Urban Meyer, bad.
The one game they won was a bad win.
Lucky game. I called that game, but I'm happy, but they're a bad team. I think Buffalo rebounds from whatever they were doing last week and steamrolls to Jacksonville.
You're going with the big note.
I know. I like the notes. And I like Miami giving the 6.5 against Houston at home. I think they're another team that's done. I think they're very challenged with David Mills. I think Miami rallies a little bit and wins by, game 24-10. They just win a game. And I think Houston's another team that could be a team you pick against consistently the rest of the year.
Robert is minus 31.5 in his 3 games.
I love it.
Go get it. Hey, we're due for a big cover. These guys that the underdogs have been covering enough. We need a big game. Hey,
I think in the last 14 games this year, where somebody was giving double-digit points and covered 13 of them.
Oh, right on.
So they've been covering
except for the stupid Bengals.
Except for the Bengals.
Buffalo didn't look like they were going to get there, and they did. They still got there. They still got there. Good call.
Before, Arizona against Houston, they were looking like they were going to get there, and then they won 31-5. They got there. So teams have been covering these big spreads more than you think. We got recency bias with the Bengals.
Right on. 10 seconds left. Great show, Robert. See you next week. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday,
thanks, Robert. 56 years of age today, November 3rd. What were you doing last year at this time? Believe it or not, this day last year was the presidential election.
Oh, yeah, it's
the
right.
very day.
Oh,
all right, folks. Hey, we'll be back next week, hopefully with some wins. We were so close 2 weeks ago with our parlay. Let's get another one in there, folks. Have a great night. Thanks for coming, Robert. We'll be back. Week 13 in the books. Go get them, everybody.